When we think about peace and the meaning of the word, it's helpful to understand what peace is not. Peace is not the absence of conflict. Conflict was, is, and always will be a part of life. Conflict is friction with the power to transform, like when you strike a match to light a flame. Conflict does not choose sides. Conflict is neutral. Conflict brings change. Our reaction and how we process conflict is what determines whether that change is positive or negative. There are two types of peace, negative peace and positive peace. Negative peace is simply the absence of violence. Negative peace is fragile because there are no measures in place to promote peace or mitigate the threat of violence. The example of negative peace is when two opposing sides agree to cease fire to end ongoing violence. Peace is restored but tenuous, with no measure in place to address the disagreement that led to the violence. Positive peace, on the other hand, actively addresses the roots of conflict. Positive peace is solution-oriented, and it can be represented in structural, political, social, cultural, environmental, and economic ways. A peace treaty is an example of positive peace because it's an agreement that addresses the areas of conflict that led to hostilities.
When we learn to live in harmony with nature, we learn to live in peace with each other.
Peace is interesting. Even in the absence of violence, peace is not a natural condition. Think of it as actively evolving, like the growing season for a garden in the spring. You prepare the soil and plant the seeds in the summer, and you water the soil and pull the weeds that try to steal nutrients from the plants. In the fall, an abundant harvest comes to fruition. After harvest, a period of dormancy or winter follows, and the cycle continues the next year and the next year. Peace can be internal. Am I at peace with myself? Or external. Am I at peace with my neighbor? Inner peace can be glimpsed through physical or mental exercises. Some methods for achieving inner peace include yoga, meditation, running, writing, healthy habits, or creating a piece of art. External peace depends on the presence of certain qualities or behaviors. These include forgiveness, honesty, empathy, compassion, and understanding. Sometimes we must step outside ourselves and remember that we may be the sun in our solar system, but the entire universe does not revolve around us. There are 5 steps to positive peace, and those are direct action, relationship building, volunteer mobilization, dialogue, and finally, negotiation. Direct action involves communicating directly and addressing the area or areas of conflict. Relationship building happens when areas of general agreement are identified and discussed. Volunteer mobilization is the step in which service, leadership, and action begin. Dialogue involves open, two-way communication. Negotiation is the final and most important stage during which the deal is ideally agreed upon. This leads to the question, what are the defining characteristics of a peaceful society? For peace to exist, it is essential that people have freedom of speech and the access to education. Also, the population must have an established rule of law with guidelines, standards, and penalties or consequences for behavior that falls outside those guidelines. Expressing belief in and reinforcing these values creates a path to a peaceful society. While it's not a requirement, stability of the economy and governing principles is a welcome component of lasting peace.
There is nothing better than love, kindness, and forgiveness to create enduring peace.
Peace is precious. Peace is also precarious. Peace can be a threshold that separates a dream from a nightmare. You alone have the power to point your light to the morning dawn rather than the final glow of dusk at nightfall. Shine your energy on the positive. Think about a time when you made peace with someone after an argument. What was the key to making peace in that situation? How did you feel after resolving this conflict? How did the relationship change?